Get a title and a date and send a song in. Everybody votes, then we do it again. Song fight, song fight, song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date and send a song in. Everybody votes, then we do it again and again.
All right, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to Song Fight. We are on night 3. How's it going, JB?
What's going on?
Feels good to be here.
Yeah,
Let me get the
does
big
it feel
Song
good?
Fight title off the screen here.
It's good to feel good. We don't always feel good these days, so any chance you get to feel good, Jimmy, you should take it.
That's right. How much weight have you gained during the time of coronavirus? Let me just put you on the spot, JB.
I don't know, 15, 20 pounds?
That's about where I am. I'd like to see like a full nationwide study that determines the actual total poundage in our collective national gut.
That's a lot of calories. You know, we could probably power a small city or two for quite some time on our calorie usage. Hello, everybody. I'm JB.
What are we doing here? All right.
Your friendly host and Fightmaster Jr., if you didn't know that already. And with me is Jimmy, who is also known as
Sober.
there you go.
I've had other names in the past, but right now it's just Sober. And as you'll see this evening, it's just a fun name.
It started out as not a fun name, right? If I recall correctly.
I was still a teenager when I started Song Fight, JB. I was a 18-year-old lad, and I was a rule follower.
You were pretty adamant about it, too. Until you went to college.
I was a real dork.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Song Fight live streamed 2020, social and distant. We have a lot of stuff to play for you tonight. Very excited. This is the third night in our 4-night, supposedly, series. Definitely 4. Who knows if y'all get crazy with the content submissions. Who knows what we'll have to do. Wanted to start out with a little bit of trivia, if you don't know. In the Song Fight Music Archive, if you scroll the whole way to the bottom, you can see totals for the list that you're looking at. And here they are, in case you were wondering. The number of titles that we've had so far in Song Fight's history since 2000 is 885 titles. And that was from 659 fights, which means, yes, some of our fights had multiple titles. We're not currently doing that, but I wouldn't rule it out for the future. In those fights, we've had 3,362 artists, which means band names, not necessarily individual people, though it's probably more than that since a lot of bands have multiple people in them. But I can safely say that thousands of people have submitted to Song Fight, and those thousands of people have submitted 12,581 songs of varying quality. Some sounds divine, some sounds like lightning farting in your ear. You should check it out, right? I'm told that those 12,581 songs add up to about 26 and a half days worth of audio content for your listening enjoyment. So in the pandemic, when you have lots of time, you should probably spend some of it listening to the entire Song Fight archive. We do have one song fighter who's currently going through that project right now. Nivius, hello, and we're sorry, and we love you.
Big shout out. That's an unbelievable task.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy in so many ways. Our first fight was on June 19th. That was the title. 2000 party over. The title was Golf Punk Drives a Cadillac, and the winner was a man named Graham Porter, who submitted an old school country song, and it's actually not bad. When we first came online, I don't know if you're aware of this, in 2000, storage and bandwidth were still pretty expensive online, so fighters had to submit their songs as a 64 kbps mono MP3, which was suffering for just, even us newbies were suffering with that format. But, eventually those restrictions were lifted, and now you can submit almost anything until you get to the point where you annoy the fight masters, at which point you might get an angry email or two about the size of your entries. So there ends the trivia that I looked up for our intro segment, Jimmy. Let's get on to some music.
Let's just to give everybody a preview of what's coming tonight, because I know that some of the folks, even who have submitted content to be broadcast on these Songfight live streams all this month, some of the folks who got it in a little bit late, they're not sure if they're going to be on the set tonight. We won't give a full rundown of the set list, but I know that we've got a good mix of stuff from some old faces who are nice to see again. We've got some interviews coming from Glenn Case has been doing some pretty cool interviews with some old heads in the Songfight world. So we've got a couple of those coming up.
They weren't always old heads.
Yeah. Jeff Fowl is going to make a little bit of a return, covering some Frankie Big Face. That'll be fun. We've got a lot of good stuff. I'm excited personally to hear from Pig Farmer Jr. He'll be later in the evening. He does a little bit of genre hopping. He'll do everything from hard like rock stuff, but he'll occasionally do some country stuff. And I'm always really excited to hear that because he does it really, really well. I wish he would do it more often, but that's just my personal request out there for Pig Farmer. But we've got a good set lined up here for
we do, and the closer for this evening, against his many protests, is our very own Sober. So if you're feeling like bitching at anybody because he's last and also hosting, bitch at me because I forced him to do it.
He insisted strongly. Yeah,
it's because his set is just great, and I can't wait for you to hear it. But you have to wait, so because we got a lot of content to get through. And first up, we have really classic titans of Songfight. Berkeley Social Scene has our first mini set of a couple of videos. Berkeley Social Scene's a collective of people living in and around Berkeley, California, and they are actually our winningest contestant. They have 39 wins out of 249 entries. That's a win percentage of 16%. But that's a little misleading, though, because they love to entertain people from all around the country and the world when they pass through the area. I've collaborated with Berkeley Social Scene at least 3 times, if not, and the individuals within many times. So you'll find them in a lot of collaborations, often winning because they're very, very talented. So we've got a couple of videos coming up from Berkeley Social Scene.
That's right.
Right.
And then we'll roll into
basically
a bit
now.
of Evermind and some Octothorpe, and we'll see you after that. Enjoy.
Welcome, everybody.
One, two, three, 2, 2, 3.
Where do you find what's on the city's mind? Go where the people meet, out in the street. There's comfort in a winding road. There's music in every zip code. On the lips of passers-by, poetry in the streets. A paper slip killing time. Poetry in the streets. How to express a world in distress. Hear how the voices repeat out in the street. There's comfort in a winding road. There's music in every zip code. Passers by, poetry in the streets. A paper slip killing time. Poetry in the streets. Quiet mornings before the city wakes. Everything is peaceful until the silence breaks. Noise arises and sidewalks shake. Rhythm and rhyme and the gun. Feel your heartbeat out in the street. There's comfort in a winding road. There's music in every zip code. On the lips of passers-by, poetry in the streets, a paper slip killing time, poetry in the streets, on the lips of passers-by, poetry in the streets, a paper slip killing time, poetry in the streets.
No, that's fine, thanks.
Remember that time down by the ocean? We watched the sunset laying on the beach, thinking about the old days. Life can move in strange ways, thinking about the old days. Those were the good days. Take a ride with me. Turn on the radio. We'll put the top down. Wind blowing through our hair. Thinking about the old days. Life can move in strange ways. Thinking about the old days. Man, those were the good days. It was so long ago. We were young and bold. Makes me feel so old. Maybe we had it all. Thinking about the old days. Life can move in strange ways. Thinking about the old days. Man, those were the good days.
Song fight, song fight, song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date and send a song in. Everybody votes, then we do it again. Song fight, song fight, song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date and send a song in. Everybody votes, then we do it again. Song fight.
Hi, I'm Evermind. This first song in my set is a song from a zombie apocalypse album that was never to be because of a fatal hard drive crash. This is the one song that survived because I liked it enough to remember how to play it some. So here it is. This is called How Long. One week you said, and you'd be alone. I'll be at the pier. I've been counting the days and losing hope. So how long must I wait here for? Out on the water, alone. Survival's as good as it gets. Food and water, rest. But I still haven't slept through the night yet. Without your head on my chest. So how long must I wait here for? Out on the water, alone. And the other song that I want to play is called Thunderstorm, and it involves a really weird tuning, so I'm going to swap guitars. This song is called Thunderstorm, and it's the song that I liked from my old song fight composition submissions, the best out of everything that I've submitted. I worked really hard on it. There was this guy named Blue who was on the forums who was horribly brutal with his feedback, and I kind of appreciated something about that. I thought, well, what would it take to make a song that Blue likes? So I decided that I would talk to Blue and be like, hey, I really want to make a song that you like, and here's like an early version of my song, and I want you to tell me what's wrong with it, and then I want to try to fix it beforehand. And I actually, one of the things that happened was I was always missing drum tracks, and no percussion, no drums, no nothing, no rhythm section. And so I didn't have drums. I didn't have a drum machine. So what I did was I had a tool available to me where I could take peaks in a waveform and a recording and turn them into events, like MIDI events that would play like a particular sound. So I made my own drum machine based out of this, and I had just this stick mic that I was recording everything on, and I just like tapped it for every individual drum, and then replaced these tapping tracks with the individual drum beats. And I'm not gonna try to recreate the drum for you, but another piece that I put into it was the tuning, which is incredibly unusual. It is D-A-D-A-A-E. And this was used in Goo Goo Dolls' Name, or at least as far as the tab that I read way back when goes, So if it sounds familiar, that's why. But this song is about, the lyrics are about being in a tent, going camping with my family when I was young, and listening to the sound of the rain against the tent during a thunderstorm. And it was incredibly peaceful, and I wanted to try to capture that moment in this song called Thunderstorm. So without further ado, here's Thunderstorm.
Turn my
Thank you.
All right, how about that? We love Spud. We love Octothorpe.
Yeah, I certainly do. Who was it that has the quote that I like good music and Octothorpe, or I only listen to good music and Octothorpe? I think that was Marcus Kellis, right? Somebody mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. As you know, that was the inimitable Spud from Octothorpe with their classic Skyline, as you may have noticed from the repeated shouting of the word Skyline. We also heard from Evermind. Thanks, Evermind. That was lovely. Evermind hosts a quiz show on Twitch called Massaquiztic. It's designed to be so hard to guess, basically have to guess, setting them up for wild leaps of logic and lots of hijinks. Check it out. Up next, we've got an interview with Heather Kelly, a.k.a. Mo Boyd, a longtime songfighter and co-host of the Songfight Live event in Austin, Texas in 2004. It was a blast. I got very drunk, and she won Songfight. And she's a very good friend. Please be nice to her as you watch this pre-recorded interview.
All right, so question number one then is, what is Songfight?
Songfight is an online community. It's inspirational. It's an inspirational online community to encourage songwriting and recording by giving some constraints to people in terms of time and in terms of content, roughly, with the titles, and to get people off their butts and making things.
And how did you find Songfight? That's question number two.
You know, I am not sure. It was quite a long time ago, and it may have been through a web search, or it may have been, gosh, maybe I heard some songs that were recorded for it. That's a really good question. Thinking back to the internet of those days, which was more about forums. I think I also around the same time heard about things like 48-hour filmmaking. So there was a kind of very burgeoning culture of jams around certain things, whether they were games or music or movies or things, to get people collaboratively and collectively starting and finishing their projects.
Approximately how many songs would you say that you've submitted to Songfight?
It would have to be somewhere between 10 and 20, I would say, if we count the ones that I made with Damien as well as on my own.
How many aliases would you say that you've gone under?
Maybe 5 aliases.
Any of them you can remember off the top of your head? High Density, right? Obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say the one that was most active was High Density, which was the first one that Damien and I did. Before that, I would guess that I published under Moboid because that's my handle. And then occasionally when there was not a theme, because we never really based our band name on the theme, but if we recorded in a certain style, we might change the name because High Density became associated with synth pop. And when we wanted to do something in another genre, like we had a couple that were more like torch song jazz kind of things. So instead of doing those as High Density, I know some of them did as like HD, which is too far off, but
that's nice.
Yeah, though. HD, or I can't remember. We probably had a few other aliases that were just around other musical genres.
Have you ever been part of a winning song fight entry?
That's a really good question. I'm not sure that I ever came in first. I feel like some of the ones were in like top 3. I would think I would know if I had won. You would hope. You'd hope I'd remember that if I'd ever actually won. I would say no, and then would love to be proven wrong.
Well, because my follow-up question is, how important is winning?
It feels good. I think that at a certain point you realize that because of the way that the votes are going, it is kind of a popularity contest. You realize that like your tastes in music is just going to be different than other people's, and if other people have a good enough song and also have a really big fan base anyway, and they tell their fans, like now it would be social media. Back then there wasn't. It was more just like email all your friends on a list and tell them to go vote for your song. Our song may not have been the best, but it was one of the best. But consistently another band would win. I'd be like, yeah. It hurts, but I'm not any less convinced that our song was good. It's just more like our social media game was weaker.
You did mention earlier about Moboid. Where did that name come from?
So that came from very early, not the earliest, but quite early internet times for me, which I guess it would have been when I started my master's degree. So that would have been 94. I arrived at the computer lab that I was part of called the ACK Lab, and we were on Unix systems. I had to have a handle that would fit in 8 characters or less. I wanted a handle that was longer because I really liked mockingbirds, and I was like, I want my handle to be Mockingbird. And I was told by the sysadmin, like, no, you can't have that many characters in your handle. So I just thought about it for a minute, and it just kind of popped to me in a bit of inspiration. I think it's a shortening, but then it also has this kind of synthy, robotic kind of feeling to it. And I'm really glad I did that when I did, because it's pretty unique. It's like a nonsensical word, but it makes sense, and no one else is really going to have that name. So I'm glad I picked something that I could stick with.
Have you ever collaborated with anyone from Songfight?
Yes. Oh my gosh, what was his name? He was like a med student in Philadelphia, I think.
I'm not sure.
And I'm trying to remember what his name was or what his artist name was. But I remember that Damien and I were on a road trip, and we went through Philadelphia. And we stopped, and I'd done some recordings maybe with him before. I did vocals because, if you remember back then, there were not a lot of women on Songfight. But at that time, being one of the few women and being a vocalist as well, there were people that would sometimes want to put some vocals on their songs, and so in a few cases I did do that. And gosh, I feel bad that I can't remember. It wasn't Lon Bobby, was it?
It might have been. That sounds familiar.
Actually, yeah, I think it was.
It was Lon Bobby. There you go. I was going to say, there's someone that's screaming at the screen right now and saying, it's Lon Bobby.
Yes, that's who it is. Probably Lon Bobby themselves.
There you go. So who are a few of your favorite Songfight artists or bands that you enjoy?
I really love anything JB did. He has just such an amazing voice. At the beginning, one of my fondest memories from Songfight is when we did the Achewood fight. And
yes. What we need more of is science.
Yeah. And I think that song in particular, I think JB has this just what range is that? Contralto, or I don't even know.
It's up there for sure. I don't know the specific term, but it's
falsetto.
It's beautiful
voice.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was always very eager when there was a new fight song, to hear what he had done. And there was also his friend who had done a lot of songs in the early days of Song Fight. By the time I joined, I think he wasn't really doing any more, but was also kind of robotic synthy.
Raised by Wolves, perhaps?
Yes, I loved his stuff so much.
Yeah, Shane's really, really great. What is friend flooding, and do you have any personal experience with it?
I guess what I already described is friend flooding, right? Songfight is not meant to be like a competition in the sense of what you get is money or some kind of concrete thing. It really is just meant to be friendly. And so therefore, I think the creators of it just went with what made sense and was easy, and that is just sheer numbers of votes. So it leaves it rife for, you could call it abuse of the system. Yeah, if you have a lot of friends and you're on the internet and you have a big platform, then that's all you really need to win. That's probably worse now, I imagine, because of social media. It's probably, a lot easier to just rally the troops.
What are some of your favorite memories from Songfight live events? And in your case, of course, you helped to host one of them.
Yeah, I did. Damien and I hosted the one in Austin. I think actually though, when I have fond memories, like Austin is probably it's kind of a blur because, I was doing a lot of work, but I have very fond memories of playing, maybe because it was the year before that we had it in Santa Cruz.
Oh, Santa Cruz, I think was a couple years later.
It was?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think 2006 for that. It was
What is time?
Austin, exactly. Austin, then Boston, then Santa Cruz. I completely agree, by the way, because I hosted one in Spokane and I barely remember anything about it because I was hosting it. You're running behind the scenes. You're trying to keep everything. You're trying to make sure that it's a success and not an utter failure. And as a result, not much in the way of memories. I find it interesting that you have a similar response to the one that you hosted in that way.
Yeah. Well, I can at least say I don't have like trauma associated with it, so it must have gone fine.
Absolutely.
That's the best you can hope for.
Sure. Any favorite moments from Santa Cruz that stand out?
Well, I just remember performing in Santa Cruz the most, and also just like hanging out with people. I actually, when I was going to go get my glass of water, I decided I picked this glass first. It's my well, I can show it to the camera. It's my Stagnaro Brothers glass, which is like the seafood restaurant that's out on the pier. And I think I got that on the trip to Santa Cruz when I was there for Songfight. I have fond memories of the performance from that and just it's Santa Cruz, so it's beautiful anyway, but yeah, good
absolutely.
vibes.
What have you learned from Songfight?
It's hard to know if I knew this beforehand, but what I think is the most important thing in general to learn is the power of constraints. Because at the very beginning, before I started collaborating with Damien, when I was doing everything myself and I was teaching myself all the stuff I needed to know, that was like a big step for me. And having the pressure, it was like a light pressure because I had never done it before, so there was no one expecting me to do it. But the pressure of knowing that there was a deadline and there was the title that I could sort of riff off of. I'm definitely one of those people who gets, paralyzed from choice,
Oh yeah, option paralysis.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. To me, that's one of the toughest things about doing a song is where do you start? What do you do? And because there's so many options available to you, where do you even start? And by having a song title, you've defined a piece of that puzzle and you can start working around that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the deadline is also very important.
Absolutely.
And I use that now. I mean, I teach young people how to do things like game design or interaction design. And often at the beginning of a project, they will have too many options, artificially reducing the number of choices that they have to make up front. We teach them that that's a good thing. they don't think it is necessarily, but we show them through practice that it is preferable to have some constraints so that you can be creative within those rather than spinning your wheels. And then the other one is maybe just around community, like having people that are trying to do the same thing, but not trying to, maybe they're trying to dominate, but they're not going to take resources from one another, like a prize money or something like that. Yeah, just having people that are trying to do the same thing and maybe shit talking each other a little bit, and finding collaborators because you might need an instrument, and you can, somebody who maybe isn't participating that year or that week is willing to throw in on your thing, or and just feeling like you're in it together in a sense, but still having your autonomy enough to crank something out. The power of constraints and the support of community. It's good memories. So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Yes, and thank you. Thanks for getting in touch.
It was a pleasure to burn, to set a spark up against the night, to feel that hunger return and see the darkness set alight. And when I'm throwing the flame, it always whispers your name. I'm so mesmerized. And then those flames start to rise. Now you might throw me some shade, though I don't feel the same. And all those insults you made can only spur and stir the flame. You and your firebrand ways, you set my passion ablaze, and yet it's better by far to watch you blacken and char. Flamethrower, light my desire. Corner it, kill it with fire. Flamethrower, kill it with flame. So let's just watch the wood burn. Pull up some chairs and we'll take our seats. And when at last it's our turn, we'll stand and face all the blazing heat. As long as I'm there with you. They're at our last barbecue, and in that one final blast, we'll melt together at last. Flamethrower, light my desire. Corner it, kill it with fire. Flamethrower, kill it with flame.
Let's get lit, I'll blow your shit sky high. You can boast, but I'll roast if you go spy. You can't touch me, son, so I try. Oh my, you're the next guy. You trying to flex guy? You see the jerks behind me in the neckties? You think that you're the kind of thing that we're impressed by? You fool, you're just fuel for the next fire. It's a shame now you're gonna hear the beep beep beep. That means game over. Brewing ain't cheap, you better save toner. What I'm saying is lay low till the pain's over. Did it get way warmer? I can see that every day, bozo. I'm here crossing the streams like not today gozer. Have I hit you where it hurts, or should I aim lower? You heard me, I'm a motherfucking flamethrower, light my desire. With fire, flamethrower, kill it with flame. Flamethrower, light my desire. Corner it, kill it with fire. Flamethrower, kill it with flame. Flamethrower, light my desire. Corner it, kill it with fire. Flamethrower, kill it with flame.
Read a depressing article in Scientific magazine. Said we're random particles, 100 billion smithereens, faced with all this nothingness. Your new dress is meaningless. But oh, you still look beautiful for what it's worth. You look so beautiful in your new dress. So your new dress doesn't fit quite as well as the last one did, and so on, so forth forever. Flattery won't make things better. Words reveal their emptiness, quite unlike your tight new dress. But oh, you still look beautiful for what it's worth. You look so beautiful in your new dress. When platitudes are all that's left to jam the jaws of nothingness, though essentially meaningless, they'll just have to do, I guess.
Well, Johnny Cash point for us there. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, love me some Johnny Cash point. Before that, we had the inimitable. I'm going to use that word about 9 times. It should be on the bingo card. Jerkatorium with Flamethrower. My favorite part about Song Fight is the fact that people aren't trying to make pop songs necessarily. They're just desperate to make a song, and so whatever comes out of their faces is what goes into that song. And I think that Flamethrower is a good example of that because it is just off the hook and awesome.
I have some questions about that guitar. It had more switches on it than a TI-88 calculator.
All the bling. Coming up, we've got Micah Summersmith playing what looks to be like a really, really lovely piano that I was very jealous of, followed by Inflatable Vegetables, who are, like many of us on Song Fight, inimitable. Okay, that's the last time. I won't say it anymore. And then we'll be back. So see you in a few minutes, everybody.
All right.
We're the high school safety pin parade, marching unified as one brigade. Try your luck with one of us, you'll be stuck with all of us. It'll be the worst mistake you ever made, 'cause we're the high school safety pin parade, and we see right through your whole facade. You all act so big and tough, but you're just not big enough. You're like tiny frightened rodent creatures cowering in the shade. From the high school safety pin parade, we're turning lemons into lemonade, which will pour into your eyes, baby, then you'll realize we're the baddest mofos in 11th grade or any grade, 'cause we're the high school safety pin parade. Hello, my name's Micah Summersmith, and I'm very excited to be part of this Song Fight live stream. You may know me for 2 things, playing the accordion and never shutting up about playing the accordion, but today I'm playing this 100-year-old Conover grand piano. Now, in terms that songfighters will understand, a piano is essentially 15 guitars laid next to each other with an elaborate mechanism of levers so that you can play each string individually without actually touching them. The first Song Fight entry that I used this piano on was in 2017, and the voters were so taken by the novelty that I won. Now let's hear if that song holds up 3 years later. This is Zero Gravity.
me tight. The only thing that's keeping me in place. I feel I could float right into space, but if I hold on, I know I'll be alright. I feel I could float right into space, just drift away in zero gravity. And the way I feel you feel for me is the only thing that's keeping me in place. I can't feel the way you feel for me, and the bed sheets don't hold me quite so tight. If I let go, I know I'll be alright. Just drift away in zero gravity.
Of course, Song Fight is much more than just the weekly fights. Here's an entry from a side fight, Circle of Titles. I received the title Long-Term Strategy from Fluffy. And for much of the lyrics of this song, I borrowed from the biblical book of Ecclesiastes. Please enjoy the song, Long-Term Strategy.
Once I was a foolish soul, but now I see at last the wisdom written long ago by the Ecclesiast. There is pleasure, there is pain, but meaning there is none. Philosophers have racked their brains for answers that don't come. Rain collects in heavy clouds, and then the rain comes down. Trees fall to the north or south, then trees lie on the ground. Streams flow to the ocean, then run back where they'd begun. What has been will be again, what's done will be redone. the strong. Time and chance ensnare us all. The wicked win, the righteous fall. The only way to hold on to your sanity is accepting every human work is vanity and abandoning your precious long-term strategy. Living souls oppressed and grieved are envious of the dead, and those that never were conceived have got it better yet. You can build your great estates, amassing wealth untold, but you can't pay the toll of fate with silver or with gold. For rich or poor, the grave is just as cold. The race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong. Time and chance ensnare us all. The wicked win, the righteous fall. The only way to hold on to your sanity is accepting every human work is vanity and abandoning your precious long-term strategy. Commandments, eat and drink and enjoy his gifts. What are we then to do? How are we then to live? Love the Lord and keep his commandments, eat and drink and enjoy his gifts. What are we then to do? How are we then to live? Love the Lord and keep his commandments, eat and drink and enjoy his gifts. What are we then to do? How are we then to live? Love the Lord and keep his commandments, eat and drink and enjoy his gifts.
Oh, we're still doing this. Okay. So another side fight. It counts as a side fight because it's got a sub-forum on the forums. Anyway, it's Spin Tunes. It's great. Here's a Spin Tunes song, also based on some ancient literature. In this case, the Iliad by Homer. And it's called... What's it called? Do you know what it's called? It's called Chariot Ride. Take it on the chin. You say it with that stool-consuming grin. But the heel is the chin of the foot, and pride was always my Achilles heel. So if I take it on the chin, that's a blow to my pride, and you know how that feels. You know the feeling's real. The tendency of tendons is to snap. Your basic tendon basically is crap. As for Achilles, his Achilles heel was never in his foot, but in Patroclus' eyes, and in the way Patroclus laughed, and in the passion that he put between Patroclus' thighs. He loved Patroclus, guys. So when Patroclus dies, it's no surprise Achilles cursed the frozen skies and vanished to his tent to curse his broken pride alone inside, emerging the next morning with a brand new taste for genocide, sweeping men aside on his vector towards revenge, sweet as nectar, upon Ilium's protector.
And poor Hector took a very, very bumpy chariot ride. You say don't let it get under your skin. You say it in a voice as smooth as sin. But it's winter in Wisconsin and the air has torn my flesh into 1,000 shards. And if some Achaean soldiers want to slip a wooden horse among my inner parts, you know it isn't hard. King Priam didn't ask for this at all, but he took it on the chin, he took the fall. If you don't want your monuments destroyed and your temples burned to ashes, don't let your little scumbag of a son judge celestial beauty pageants. Don't take your chances. How many million men have died for honor and for stupid pride, but ultimately all because the gods decided they would try to throw a little party and keep Sister Chaos locked outside. She always finds her way in with an apple, with an insult, with an offer that you can't refuse, etc. And all of us get taken for a bumpy chariot ride.
Someone should climb up there first. Okay. Can the cow climb up the tower? Here it comes. Well, thank you for joining us. Our last song is called Safe Harbor.
My love, my darling, my child, when you're lost on a limitless ocean and the winds are relentless and wild, and you haven't the ghost of a notion of where you have come from or where you are headed or whether you'll ever spy land. Through all the doldrums, through whatever weather, just reach out and I'll take your hand and I'll sail with you on any tide to the horizon and farther. Wherever we're carried, I'll be by your side until we reach safe harbor. My child, my darling, my love, there's such a wide world to discover, and no threats from below or above can harm us while we have each other. So hoist up the anchor and unfurl the sails, have courage, there's nothing to fear. We'll face the dangers, the storms and the gales. Whenever you need me, I'm here. I'll sail with you on any tide to the horizon and farther. Wherever we're carried, I'll be by your side until we reach safe harbor. Yes, I'll sail with you on any tide to the horizon and farther. Wherever we're carried, I'll be by your side until we reach safe harbor.
I don't like the way that Katie cleans my teeth, it's painful. She's not into cavities, she says I have a brain full. Something in my chest hurts so much when she talks to me. The doctor says it's stress, cardiomyopathy. I feel like I'm dying, broken heart syndrome, broken heart syndrome. Every day I'm crying, broken heart syndrome, broken heart syndrome. Underneath her mask, she must have perfect teeth. Why did Family Dental hire such a hot assistant? I don't know why she's so mean or why she's so resistant. Something in my chest hurts so much when she talks to me. She says I'm on the cover, TV and psychology. I feel like I'm dying, broken heart syndrome, broken heart syndrome. Every day I'm crying, broken heart syndrome, broken heart syndrome. Underneath her mask, she must have perfect teeth. She says I can't be trusted as she polishes each bicuspid. But my x-rays are the screensaver on her PC. I feel like I'm dying, broken heart syndrome, broken heart syndrome. Every day I'm crying, broken heart syndrome, broken heart syndrome. Underneath her mask, she must have perfect teeth. Okay, I'm totally confused. Cardboard sign on the bathroom door says she's not coming out. Spent 3 hours, this means war. She can't hear us shout. No vacancy, no vacancy. Holly wants her privacy. Lays in the tub with headphones on, singing out her favorite songs. Oh, no vacancy. Oh, no vacancy. Till office we're raw, we don't think it's fair. Holly is a mean, mean girl, and she doesn't care. No vacancy, no vacancy. Holly wants her privacy. Lays in the tub with headphones on, singing loud her favorite songs. Oh, no vacancy. Oh, no vacancy.
back, and JB's got a nice background. So for the folks playing bingo out there, the song fight bingo, I believe one of the squares is 3 or more Glens, and I think this brings us up to, is this just 2 Glens that we've got here?
2 Glens so far. Will we get to, wait, is it 3 or more than 3 Glens? I don't have the card in front of me.
What do we got coming up?
Up next is Jeff Fall covering a song by Frankie Bigface, who is in my class of Song Fight. We came in at the exact same time with the same first song, which is not what Jeff is covering. Jeff is covering Floating Bridge by Frankie Bigface, a beautiful cover of a beautiful song. And then after that, we have a set by Sock Puppet, who cannot be imitated. Don't even try it. It's not possible. It's amazing. You're going to get a kick out. I hope you get a kick out of it as much as I do. It's going to be great.
Also deserves a shout out for being one of the people that make Song Fight happen, for sure.
Yes. The power behind Sock Puppet, Fluffy, helps keep Song Fight running, is a general middle of the night troubleshooter type, always ready to lend a hand, and just an all around resource and I don't know what the term is. Cannot be done without.
That's the JB.
A friend. His Fluffy, she's a friend of Song Fight, but is irreplaceable. Is that the word? Anyway, we probably would not be here without Fluffy. So I hope you enjoy her set. But Jeff's first.
Here we go.
This is Floating Bridge by Frankie Bigface, 2001. In my imagination, we live side by side, and our rooftops are connected by a floating bridge. In place of ventilation, we breathe each other's air with our bronchial tubes connected by a pipeline. And we fly higher than we need to. We fly higher than we ought to. We fly higher than come crashing to the floor. Then we laugh and laugh till we can't anymore. In We live side by side, and our rooftops are connected by a floating bridge.
Song fight, song fight, song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date, send a song in. Everybody votes and then we do it again. Song fight, song fight, song fight, song fight.
Hello, Song Fight. I heard what the robot said. I'm going back to bed. 'Cause I know if I don't get enough sleep, I'll just be seeing red. I think I'll stay inside. No reason not to hide. Maybe if they don't hear a peep, they'll think I already died. How we gonna get ourselves out of this one? Why can't they just go and shoot the moon? Someone should do something about this terror from outer space. I hope that this bad nightmare is ending soon. The robot said, I'm going back to bed. Seeing that big pneumatic drill fills me up with dread. I just can't stay inside, even if they think I died. Smoking crater where it was my favorite hill. Maybe it's time to hide. How we gonna get ourselves out of this one? Why'd they have to go and shoot the moon? Someone should do something about this threat to the human race. I hope that this bad nightmare is ending soon. Said, I'm going back to bed. 'Cause I know if I don't get enough sleep, I'll just be seeing red. It's getting cold, tired of mending. It's getting old. What have they done to me? I'm sick of this place. Look in the mirror. So sick of this face. What have they done to me? said she would go. Smelling the flowers, I'm floating in space. I've been here for hours with a smile on my face. What have they done to me? She said she would go. She said she would. She said she would go. She said she would. She said she would go. Oh, she said she would. I look in your window, but nobody's there. Last night you told me you'd be doing your hair. I really do think if we're going somewhere, we should be honest about the feelings we share. But you tell another story, or you tell another lie. It is doing nothing for me. I don't know why you even try. I'm so very sorry. I hope you are fine. I worry about you. I'm getting sick all the time. But I have to wonder, please give me a clue. How you were out with friends while sick with the flu. Could you tell another story? And you tell another lie. It is doing nothing for me. I don't know why you even try. Don't want to hear it, how your mother just died. This isn't the first time that you've actively lied. I know what you're saying isn't the slightest bit true. Or did you believe the person that I paid to tell you? But you tell another story, or you tell another lie. Doing nothing for me. I don't know why you even try. Oh, 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 oh. And you tell another story. That means you tell another lie. I know you really abhor me. I don't know why you even try. heading for a fall, when all that I can do is run faster, or something less than I am worth, as I tumbled into earth. But all that I can do is run faster. Please listen to the way I feel. I need to get some more time to heal. My lungs are getting ready to explode. I can't run any faster. I get the feeling I should leave. It's getting harder to believe. You don't know what it is I'm going through. I'm running faster. How can you tell me what to do? If I am dead, I will not see things through. What you want isn't easy done or said. I'd like to see you run faster. I've given you my all, but I'm ready for a fall. When all you let me do is run faster. Feeling numb, head banging drum. Where I come from, all die another day. What happened to me, setting myself free? An absentee, I'm turning away. I knew I could be stronger, hold on a little longer. Tried not to fall in the water, but I've heard enough. I just keep going faster, heading towards disaster. Too late to stop me after I've heard enough. Too late for me, so let me be. We'll just have to see how this all turns out. What things may come, I'm feeling dumb. Gonna succumb to another doubt. No, I could be stronger, hold on a little longer. I'll try not to fall in the water, but I've heard enough. I just keep going faster, heading towards disaster. Too late to stop me after I've heard enough. Asking why, staying dry, but for now I am fine. Too late, it's done, it's time to run. under the gun, your life is on the line. I know I could be stronger, hold on a little longer. Try not to fall in the water, but I've heard enough. I just keep going faster, heading towards disaster. Too late to stop me after I've heard enough. I know I could be stronger, hold on a little longer. Try not to fall in the water, but I've heard enough. I just keep going faster, heading towards disaster. Too late to stop me after I've heard enough. Everything you like, anything that gets you high. Something there for everyone, something you can try. Getting murray with a furry in the simulated leather. Bondage in a dungeon where you can do it one better. Get your freak flag on. Get your freak flag on. Everything is good in our carved out sexy spaces. From the horniest of normies to the kinkiest of aces. Post it on social if you're into humiliation, but remember to use content warnings. It's just polite, get your freak flag on. Get your freak flag on. Everything is good as long as everyone's consenting. Couple with some trans girls who are really into fencing. Peg a strapping young lad with your strapping strap on cock. Only if he's legal, though I've been around the block. Get your freak flag on. Get your freak flag on. You can be a top or bottom or an indecisive switch. Take them out for breakfast afterwards if you feel the itch. Safety first, remember to wear rubber, use protection. And get it nice and shiny so you can see your own reflection. Yeah, get your freak flag on. Get your freak flag on. Get it on and on. Get your freak flag on. Safe word to your mother, but not your actual mother, because that'd be gross. I mean, yuck. You can hide yourself down a deep dark hole, or hoist yourself up a really tall pole. Anything that can help you get away. You can do heavy drugs to numb the pain, or ask a surgeon to remove your brain, so you can fit right in and start to play. Change your face and change your name. Hide everything that brings you shame, or go on a preemptive sneak attack. Throw yourself into the viper's pit. Embroil yourself in petty shit, but just commit, 'cause there's no turning back. Oh, I wish I didn't worry oh so much. Oh, I wish I could feel fine. Oh, if only all my hopes weren't out of touch. I wish my safety wasn't on the line. If you're accused of doing a bad crime, want to hide for a very, very, very long time, consider all the possibilities. Make a run for president, convince the people you are heaven sent. You might just win, and then you are home free. Even if you're caught lying, everyone gives you points for trying. It's not that the bear skates well when it skates at all. Even if you destroy the world, doesn't matter, you can fuck every girl, and then you can go home and take your ball. Oh, I wish I didn't worry oh so much. Oh, I wish we'll find. Oh, if only all my hopes were out of touch. I wish my safety wasn't on the line. In the long run, everything will be fine. It will just be a matter of time. In 12 billion years, this will all be gone. In the meantime, please try to survive. The world is better with you alive. Outliving him is a reason to go on. Thank you, everyone.
My mic should be live.
See you around.
Yay. That was fun. It's really fun seeing the chat going in. It's, you know, we've sort of joked that Songfight Live is truly song love. And it really is nice to see.
It really is. I love it. It's sweet. Just, you know, good vibes, everybody. I appreciate you.
We need Blue to crash the party, though. Everyone's like, all of these interviews with Glenn and so forth, Blue comes up all the time. Why is that? Why does Blue have such a presence in the back of our heads?
He has a grip. Yeah, he's getting free rent in our heads.
He's like the Songfight dad. You go to your therapist and you just complain about your dad, or maybe that's just me. And Blue is the Songfight dad that everybody complains about. Huge window into Sober's mentality. Let's move on. JB, what do you got?
All right, so that was a great set from Jeff and from Fluffy. And coming up next, we have not so frequent anymore, but at one time frequent songfighter under 40 Second Songs was the name that he fought under. Jonathan Mann, who is the Guinness World Record holder for most days having consecutively written a song. He's like over 4,000 or something. I'm sure Sam is in the chat right now, and he will tell us exactly what the number is because he keeps tabs on Jonathan. We're going to hear a song from Jonathan that is the second greatest title in the history of Songfight. It's called Robot Ninja Zombie Bear, followed by another songfighter from across the pond, Michael Scheel and company with their band is Stuffin' Nonsense. They're going to sing and perform Save a Pony from the Glue Factory, which is not the greatest title in the history of Songfight, but it is up there. I like it a lot. And then we're going to hear from Tim Hinkle, who's going to perform an 18-minute and 36-second set of material performed in front of what I believe is an actual green screen in his house.
Jealous. So, all right, time for some Jonathan Mann.
Deep in the Appalachian Mountains, forged in the fires fed by coal, trained by the light of the fairy fountain, and never give up until he reached his goal. Robot ninja zombie bear, fighting for freedom everywhere. Evil better say a prayer. He's the robot ninja zombie bear, from the streets of New York all the way to London. He keeps us safe from terrorists with claws and teeth and throwing stars and a thirst for brains that will not quit. He's a robot ninja zombie bear. He cannot die, he's already there. Evildoers had better beware. He's a robot ninja zombie bear. His software was designed by Google engineers. Johnny Ive cut his exterior from a single piece of aluminum. Chuck Norris showed him how to be a ninja. No one knows how he gained his zombie powers. Fueled by salmon and organic honey, with a direct line to the president. His foo is strong and his scabs are runny. When trouble calls, he's on the scent. Look up in the air, is that a bird or a solar flare. It's got 10 limbs and shaped like a pear. The robot ninja zombie bear. The robot ninja zombie bear. Robot ninja zombie bear.
Hi,
Song
Song
Fight.
Fight. We're Stuff and Nonsense.
Yes, Stuff and Nonsense.
I'm Michael.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Louie.
She's technically not in the band. You may remember us from Denver 2018, where we won the live song fight. That's right.
Mm-hmm,
And now what we're going to do, we're going to play a song.
We're going to play that my daddy called Daddy is going to play a song called Save a Pony from a Glue Factory. You might remember it from Denver.
That's right, this is Save a Pony from the Glue Factory from 2004. Enjoy.
It's a good and funny song.
Save a Pony. There's a sweet old fella down every street, smoking crack and drinking whiskey and neat. Someone needs to tell her that drugs are wrong. She can't help it if this is long. If a horse could wear your trousers, would you call him a man? Do you turn around and walk away just because you can? Treat them as you would a bird or a tree. Save a pony from the glue factory. Give your heart and soul to another. He's not a pony. He's your brother. He used to be a trusted steed. Now he's just another friend in need. What resonates down on his knees? What will he do when he wants more speed? If a horse could write a symphony, would you call him a man? So come, take his hoof in your hand, deliver him to the promised land. Treat them as you would a bird or a tree. Save a pony from the glue factory. Give your heart and soul to another. He's not a pony. He's young. There is a donkey with no home. Now he's just drinking on his own. He's got a place to roam. He's pumping his body full of Nandrolone. Crazy horses. Crazy horses. Treat them as you would a bird or a tree. Save a pony from the glue factory. Give your heart and soul to another. It's not a pony. He's your treat them as you would a bird or a tree. Save a pony from the glue factory. Give your heart and soul to another. It's not a pony. He's your Nice.
Song fight, song fight, song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date and send a song in. Everybody votes and we do it again. Song fight, song fight, song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date and send a song in. Everybody votes and we do it again.
I never doubted it was true. If you won't learn from history, it just repeats on you. But all the same, it must be said, we should spend a lot of time discussing our days with the dead. History can't quite be history ghosts, we stand steadfast. Sins of our fathers will persist, while our forebears hang around their mode of thought can't be dismissed. Make room for what we've learned since then. Get started tearing history down, don't make the same mistakes again. The past contains much that should not be forgotten. Meaning derives from both beautiful and rotten. Give us some credit, I swear I'd still recall heroes and villains without their corpses in the hall. Sins of our fathers will persist, while our forebears hang around their mode of thought can't be dismissed. Make room for what we've learned since then. Get started tearing history down, don't make the same mistakes again. But all of it was made in Japan. Dear Natalie, I left the Hopi village at Second Mesa and drove up to the northern rim. I wish you could be here, but it might be better to wait until summer, since I'll be on the road a lot until then. I hiked down to the bottom of the canyon. I met a new friend on the trail, and when it cooled off at night, we sat on a blanket and looked up at the stars. There must have been 10,000 in the sky, and they almost seemed to overlap. Dear Natalie, I'm in Flagstaff renting space in a trailer park this week. Even though it's not on a reservation, kicked tumbleweed, and his mother called him home, where the Arizona moon met the Arizona sun. Maybe you can come later this summer. I am very busy, I can join your parade. I have counted all the raindrops now, I'll put them all away. Seemed like the sky was crying over things it saw today. So I counted all the raindrops and hide them all away. Sunshine was promised would make all our troubles melt, but the risk of the infection still upon the grieving pelt. Despite daylight disinfectant dripping down the damaged gels, the risk of the infection still upon the grieving pelt. Hidden among rain clouds, grateful when the storm arrives, much simpler to count raindrops and tears spilt for stolen lives. I am very busy, I can sing your songs today. I have counted all the raindrops, now I'll put them all away. When faced with persecution, I can't think of what to say. So I've left up all the raindrops and I'm hiding them away. I've soaked up all the raindrops and am hiding. Throbbing, pulsing waves of blood and smoldering, overheating minds. Tick and talk you into place until no refuge I can find. I try to focus on no one thought and carry on across the noise before it can. My will encase and my volition it destroys. A tiny voice inside me fights to rise above the din. It gathers strength, my fingers twitch, I come alive again. I mumble audibly, what's that? this melody can propel me along. At last the sun begins to set, sanguineous tides finally ebb. In the stillness of the night, my mind shakes free from daylight's web. Spread eagle on the spot that you'd expect him to, like 100,000 photos shot by people passing through. But when he didn't rise to bid the monument adieu, resorted into wondering what we were meant to do. The blood witch into Colorado bled, and quite naturally was of the color red. It began to flow out from the poor man's head. At the moment his head did the ground here meet, his lower limbs meanwhile had come to rest in the jurisdiction just to the southwest. Earth welcomed his return and he was blessed. The inscription under God under his feet. Just how far from a hospital do you think we must be? Should we wait for help to arrive or should we quickly flee? And when one coroner's observed the things that he can see, can he declare a cause of death without the other three? His cell phone bounced into New Mexico. Its value did decrease as it did go. His shattered screen leaves us no way to know the numbers needed to inform his kin. Toward this place in Utah where we stand, he's pointing a finger on his right hand, seeming to ask our industrious band in this final moment how we will begin. One midnight in the library in my great-grandma's home, behind the books I always see, I found this dusty tome. Opened it to a random page, and twinkling butterflies fluttered away free from their cage, light sparkling in my eyes. Mythical creature hidden away, no longer expected to engage with every day, preserved forever in a picture perfect place. the book half closed. The creatures from their pages glare, I've disturbed their repose. Hey, you out there, can I ask you the century? It seems I've been away an awful time. From the smell of the air, the earth's now ripe for my re-entry. I can almost taste the blood, it's so sublime. A vaporous form seeps from the book, I can't hold it inside. There's space for you in my old nook, if you'd like a place to hide. Mythical creature hidden away, no longer expected to engage with everything, preserved forever in a picture perfect place. Drift off to sleep in Prince's embrace.
All right. We do need to answer a question. It's a question I have. I'm showing my own ignorance. This is me being vulnerable, JB. What's the duck call tube thing called?
The Peter Frampton effect.
Yeah, what is that thing?
It's called a talk box.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
I didn't know that because I'm from a different generation than you, JB.
Yeah, well, we can't all be members of the greatest generation. That is X. Or you're definitely squarely in millennial, right?
I am a millennial. I am barely technically eligible to be president. It could happen.
That explains so much.
All right, what do we got coming up next?
Ken, shut up. It's not funny. Ken is referring to the fact that for about 10 years I've had a repeating New Year's resolution, which is a moratorium on classic rock. I do not allow myself to listen to it. I grew up with it. I don't ever need to hear any classic rock ever again. And I can have long discussions with you about what constitutes classic rock because I've thought about it a lot. Don't test me.
Well, if you turn on the radio, it's Nirvana now.
No, that's not classic rock. Yeah, we can discuss it at some other time on our podcast.
Our soon-to-be smash hit podcast.
Yes. Two
JB
white guys talking about music. Just what everybody needs. That's the title of it. Just what everybody needs. All right, coming up later, you guys, after the final set, we will be announcing the live fight title for next week. So stick around. This is your earliest opportunity to learn what the title is, to get the most time to write your terrible, terrible song. So stick around. Don't forget. Also, after the show, we have been having a kind of a Zoom after party. So if you want to stick around for that, we will post a link to the Zoom in the live chat here on the YouTubes. And it's usually pretty fun for at least 45 minutes. And then after that, your mileage may vary. Up next, we've got Eugen. and Rev with a song that they did, which makes me feel like British synth pop or European. We have a live video from Brody. I think it's taken from Santa Cruz. It's their Red Flag. And then we have another of Glenn's fantastic interviews, this time with, wait, before we get to that, I wanted to ask Sober a question. What is the favorite, what is the best title ever on Songfight?
I don't know about the best. I've had too many gaps of absence from Songfight, but I'm pretty confident on what the worst title is, and I think it's Dinga da Donga.
Dinga da Donga is your choice for wrong. Okay. Then we're going to have an interview with Glenn, and he's going to be interviewing Jim. And we were discussing how to pronounce Jim's last name, and I said I've only known him for about 15 years, so I can't be blamed for not being able to pronounce. I think it's Tyrrell. And what's your contention, Sober?
I look at the word and I see Tyrell, but Tyrrell, that sounds more Game of Thrones. It
does sound like a Lannister.
Yeah.
Jim Tyrrell. Yeah, he will mess you up. Do not mess with Jim Tyrrell. Also, the only songfighter that I'm aware of that has a Songfight tattoo. Ask him to show it to you. It's amazing. He will demur and say that it needs to be touched up, but don't believe him. It's awesome.
Where on his body is it? Dare I ask?
It's on one of his shoulders. I believe it's on his right shoulder.
Okay.
Terrell, Terrell. It's answered. I win. You owe me money. We didn't bet, but you still owe me money. You all owe me money for that matter. And then after that, we have a brief video from Pig Farmer Jr. It's their Higher and Higher, and it's going to be pretty amazing. And then we will check in with you guys again before the finer set. So let's kick it off here with some Eugen and some Rev.
In the rain, I'm falling apart. Everything that I ever wanted, all my days have turned into night. Vicissitude imparted. Pick up the pieces, bleed for me and take away the pain that you had placed inside me. You wouldn't believe how far I would go with nothing to show for. In the rain, I'm falling apart. Everything that I ever wanted, all my days have turned into night. Vicissitude imparted. I want to wrap you up in plastic. I want you buried underground. When darkness falls upon the night, and won't you sleep tight, sleep tight. Bleed for me and take away the pain that you had placed inside me. You wouldn't believe how far I would go with nothing to show for. Bleed for me and take away the pain that you had placed inside me. You wouldn't believe how far I would go, but now I just want you to see.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Scheidt was the one who helped to organize this event. Please give him a big round of applause. And it is my pleasure. I mean, one of the reasons I stuck around on Songfight actually was because some of the first positive reviews I got were of this band. And I'm a big fan of this band right here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Brody. Thanks.
Good work.
Thanks.
Good work, everyone.
It's genuine.
I know it. I know it.
We tune because we care.
Number one, what is Songfight?
Songfight. It's an online songwriting competition where they post a song title. You got roughly a week to write, record, and submit a song for it. And then they post them all on the website, and everyone votes on which one they like the best, and then I don't win, and then they do it again. Is the general routine.
Yes. That is a great answer.
With a couple exceptions.
How did you find Songfight?
I was working a day job as a graphic designer and trying to build my musical career at night. And I decided that, if I was going to do this successfully, I really should build a body of my own material. But I was crippled with writer's block, and I just needed some inspiration. And I started looking around online at maybe some songwriting triggers, and there was Songfight. And I saw it, and I was like, oh, there's a song called Moscow, Idaho that's due tomorrow. What would I do if I only had 24 hours? And that's where it all started.
Approximately how many songs would you say that you've submitted to Songfight?
Oh, it's probably around 40. Most of them under my own name, but with a couple of little side projects as well.
That's one of the questions that I was going to ask, is if you have any aliases that you've gone under.
Nothing terrifically sneaky. I do play in a folk trio called the Midweeklings, and we submitted a tune. I think it was for the Shot Down fight. And I've played with Holly Frolone, who is in the Midweeklings, and her sister and her sister's wife. We've played together as a band before. We submitted a couple of songs recently under the name Waikikis.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, every now and then something else like that will come up. The funny thing about Songfight for me is that here in New Hampshire, I've encouraged all of my songwriting friends to take part, and the ones that do usually come in and they win, and they never do it again. And they're like, "Oh, what's the big deal about that?" I'm like, "Yeah, whatever."
Well, and have you ever been part of a winning Songfight entry?
Yeah, the first time I won Songfight, it took a little over a year of entries, not every week, of course, but the song Naked on the Beach was my first Songfight win, which was a goofy little almost Irish, almost drinking song.
I feel like that title might be amongst the most ridiculous titles that I have ever heard of, besides Rockapalooza Ninja Nanophone Eternal the Vishnu Cycle. Did
you write a song for that one?
I did.
Yeah, I did as well, and I just kind of have left it to history. It was an interesting exercise, and that was the end of it. See, I saw that title, and I just thought, this is a song title for its own sake.
Yes.
It doesn't exist for any other purpose than to just be what it is. So I decided to make my song lyrics entirely out of previous Songfight titles. And I just Legoed them together, basically.
Well, kind of like the Songfight Orchestra that got Legoed together, like,
that was
person to person.
Was from that golden age in Songfight, that I came in 2004, and boy, it was I caught it on the crest there. It was a beautiful few years.
How important is winning? That's kind of question 4B.
Really not at all. I've always been of the opinion that if I write a song, then I've won. I've achieved the goal by just adding something to my arsenal of music. And this is still such a valuable prompt for songwriting for me. It really is.
I've used Songfight titles long after the fact, where I've gone through the archives and said, okay, that fight happened about 12 years ago, but I like the title and I'm going to use it because I need a song this week.
I did that in a couple instances on the last album that I made, when I found old titles and I was like, it's kind of a shame I missed that one. And you write something for it.
It'd be fun to have a shadow entry area, I think, actually, where people submit their shadows for previous fights. I feel like that might be something that would be really fun.
That's true. At least like a thread, where people go and visit that, and it's sort of an alternate universe Songfight.
Who have you collaborated with from Songfight? This is question 5.
I have collaborated with a few people, but not a lot. There was a fellow, and I don't remember who he was. He fought under the name Mal, M-A-L. We did a thing where I think I wrote some lyrics and he put them to music. But it was a very hands-off thing, so almost like posting them in the lyric thread and somebody runs with them. somebody wrote lyrics for Danger Bus, and I put those to music. This is also kind of going way back. You and I have collaborated on a couple of things here and there.
Yes, we have.
They've generally been outside of the main song fight body, though. I don't collaborate as much as I would like to. Sure. And now that the computer is set up, the music studio is a little more like a music studio now. I can kind of pursue those things, because the few song fight live things I've been able to attend have just been glorious experiences for kind of connecting with people who do this.
Now, I don't know if you've been on there recently, but who would you love to see return to song fight that you haven't heard from in a while?
Oh, if Jim of Seattle could make his way back, I would appreciate that a lot. I think we're kind of musical kindred spirits in a way. Definitely ran parallel to that guy. Once I found Song Fight and entered, I started listening to previous entries, and I got to his entry for Brown Boxes, and it blew my mind. I immediately went home, learned how to play it, sent him a version of it.
Who are a few of your favorite song fight artists or bands that you enjoy? Basically, if you're picking like a song fight Hall of Fame, like for your personal favorites.
Oh, man. You know, Starfinger gets in on the strength of one song. I mean...
More Than Soup!
No, I was thinking of Blimps.
Where you're at?
No, I'm kidding.
Blimps is amazing.
Awesome.
It's just not a
Blimps
song fight song.
No, of course. But I go back to when I started. It was just so... There were so many people like Ad Music, and JB, of course, and Son of Supercar, and 1516 Puzzle, and Hostess Mostess. There's a whole bunch from that era. What happened to C-Hack? I miss that guy.
Oh yeah, wow! I haven't even heard his name in a long time, but he was great too.
Yeah, he did the T-shirt designs for the Boston live fight.
Such a good design. I have that T-shirt. I'm not wearing it. I'm wearing Santa Cruz right now, but I have the Boston shirt.
I was gonna wear mine, but that was 2005, and it doesn't really fit anymore.
This is pretty tight, also. So yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down there. What is friend flooding, and do you have any personal experience with it?
That is something that I'm always conscious of. The win isn't that important to me, but winning for the wrong reason always feels bad. The risk of that.
Yeah.
So when I post something about a song that I've entered, I post about the fight. And I post about, go and hear this. I've got a song in here, but listen to the different ideas that people can come up with for a song and vote for the ones you like the best. I really do try to be neutral about it. And that probably only carries so much weight, but I really do want to share the sort of mind-blowing experience that it is to listen to all of the other songs in a fight that you've entered. Like Red Zero, I felt so good about my entry. And I listened to the other songs. I was like, I'm not even on the list here. There's so many amazing things that are happening. So I'm not out canvassing for votes or anything, certainly. Obviously, that's not apropos, but it's pretty well offset by the fact that the prize is nothing.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. The first time that I submitted, I told all my friends about it, and I won in a landslide because friend flooding, and I didn't know that was a faux pas. So.
Yeah, and I'm not famous by any means, but I do have a lot of people on Facebook who pay attention to what I do musically. Yes. So I know that there's always the potential for that, and I, at the very least, I try not to cultivate it.
It'd be funny to try to do a friend flood fight where it's like maybe even the song title is Friend Flood, and the optional challenge is to friend flood. Just now came up with that. That could be really fantastic, actually. I'm going to suggest that to Sam.
Yeah. But that could also ruin the little gem that is the best kept secret on the internet, too. You know, there's something special about Songfight having not blown up the way it really should have.
Question number 8. What is your favorite song by Octothorpe?
My favorite song by Octothorpe. I can't think of the name of it, and it's driving me nuts, but they did this beautiful video for it where they were kind of walking around the city with a boombox. And I remember getting such a kick out of it because they played it on the I'm gonna have to find out what it is and get back to you.
Question number 9. What are some of your favorite memories from Songfight live events that you have been to?
The live fights themselves are always so fun because there's this pressure. It's always fun to see how many people have put time in before they showed up, or how many people like Manhattan Glutton, I'm calling you out, are sitting, writing their lyrics as they're walking to the stage, and then manage to win with them. I'm pretty sure that's what happened in DC. It's a little hazy because it was BYOB, but I wanted so badly to go to that Austin song fight, and it just didn't line up. It would have been a pretty drastic move for me to be like, oh, I found these people on the internet and I'm going to Texas now.
That was me for Seattle. That was me for Seattle the year before, because I found Song Fight via MC Frontalot and Gonna Be Your Man, and the week after I found it, Song Fight Live Seattle was happening, and I damn near considered going just because I was really liking what I heard with MC Frontalot, but it also didn't pan out. So I'm same exact thing as you. It's just 1 year earlier. 9B here is any favorite moments from the message boards that come to mind out of nowhere.
You know, I spent some time a while ago looking for that big picture of Nevada. You got it? Can you send that to me?
I don't know if I've got it, but I will look it up.
It would make a wonderful screensaver on my studio computer. I would love to get a hold of that.
For those who do not know, the Nevada was this huge image where if you wanted to bury a topic on the message board, you just put Nevada. When you Nevada'd something, it's because this gigantic image made the rest of that board unreadable. That was
now in 2004. Hilarious. I was on dial-up at home, so the Nevada was especially effective. So I have fond memories of it.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I was thinking that when I asked this question to the last person I talked to, I thought of Nevada. I was like, well, but would this be considered a good memory? So thank you for backing me on that. Because if nothing else, it's funny. It's really funny. What is a story from Song Fight that you have experienced that people may not know about?
It sounds very, like self-indulgent and praising. I don't mean it like that. But I used to work in graphic design back before I was able to kind of make the run and just play music for a living. And I figured out the secret, by the way. All you got to do is be really poor. And the rest takes care of itself. It's amazing. But a friend of mine came into the graphics department that I was working with a box. And hang on just a second. Check out my mandolin. I don't know how to play it. He said, Jim, I made you a bunch of these. And he made these T-shirts that say God hates penguins on them because he liked the song that I wrote so much.
Oh my goodness.
Like, you got to sell these at your shows.
That's amazing.
And it turns out people aren't really that angry at penguins. And without the context, it's not a real seller. So,
what have you learned from Song Fight?
Oh my gosh. What have I learned? I mean, Song Fight has been so instructional just in its very existence. And the fact that a deadline is so fundamentally important to what I do. There needs to be a cutoff. There needs to be this has to be good enough. You have to stop working on this project. And then afterwards, you can go back and say, okay, these were the good things about it. If I don't have that, then things don't get, there's never any cutoff. Things don't get done, and I think that really cost me the opportunity to learn from those things. So Song Fight, just in its very kind of iteration, just the way that it exists has been really useful. There was a review, there was a song, I think it was Blueberry Hassle by Suave Noise Youth.
Oh, okay, sure.
Which is an anagram, as you probably know.
I didn't.
It's an anagram for Nibius Hates You.
He's one of the people I'm interviewing next. I should make a note of that.
Yeah, please mention it to him. I think it was that song where he sort of goes on almost a little bit of a tirade talking about the likelihood of ever winning Song Fight. It really rung true with me. I was like, I've been doing this for a year and I'm not really competing as far as the way that the votes go. And it gave me pause to think, is that really important to me? Yeah. And I decided that it wasn't. Sure. I did end up, winning a fight or two after that, but it really gave me cause to reflect. So that's one thing I remember too.
Perfect. That's all I got. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
Awesome, dude.
Enjoy the rest of your night.
Cheers.
Sounds good. Bye.
the day again. I'm yearning for the night. Tired of everybody saying it will be alright. Standing high, high and higher, far away out of this hell. Standing high, high and higher, wondering if the whole damn world can tell. Staring at the stars below, my mind is finally free. I can barely catch a glimpse of the broken part of me. Standing high, high and higher, looking for a way out of this hell. Standing high, high and higher, wondering if the whole damn world can tell. Standing high, high and higher, looking for a way out of this hell. Standing high, high and higher, wondering if the whole damn world can tell.
All right, a little pig farmer for us there. A lot of
Mm.
nice stock footage. Very
Yeah,
compelling.
yeah. That's you got the $29.95 Adobe stock account that's coming in handy. And before that, we had the interview with Jim Tyrell Lannister, and fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. All right. All right. Don't forget, folks. For those of you who are still paying attention, we have the announcement of the title for the Song Fight Live. That will be due sometime next week, probably Saturday, I guess. And just in time for the show on Sunday, which will be hosted by Spud, as usual, in his fashion, very Spud-tastic fashion. And also at the end of the show, we'll post a link to the after party Zoom in the live chat. So hope to see you there. I'll be there. And up next, I think that was all we were going to do for this banter. I don't think I'm going to let Jimmy talk. He's opening a beer while he prepares to get as drunk as possible before he has to watch himself on video for his set, which he has painstakingly crafted. I've seen it. I enjoyed it. I hope you do too. Production quality.
You'll recognize the surroundings.
The best that our military can possibly train a person to produce.
Don't put my garbage on the military, okay?
There's enough garbage on the military. I went there.
They trained me, and then I went and did my own thing.
Right. That's what they all say. Some of them afterwards are arrested. Oh, it's getting dark. It's late and it's dark.
It's late. You're on the East Coast. It's getting up there for
it's
for
yeah,
Papa
it's getting up
JB.
there for a man of my age. Man, I wasn't always this old, but 20 years ago I wasn't this old. All right,
I think it's still
so
light
this is our
out
last
in,
set of the night.
on
Yeah,
the Pacific
and
Coast, or it might be red skies all the time for them. But
It's true.
hope you guys are
Yeah.
staying safe.
it's like the
But,
road.
we'll check
ashes
back in at the
falling
end
down.
here and say adios for sure.
Yeah. So enjoy our last set of the night. It's Sober Set. It's really going to be pretty good. Stick around for the live fight title announcement and the after party Zoom set, and enjoy.
They came across one into the other in the night, in the night. Yes, and each was found seeking comfort to the right, to the right. Thunder echoed in her cries, sadness in his eyes. He loosed himself from the bindings and he leapt into the sea. No crashing wave could stop him from finding his to be or not to be. She watched him fight the tide from the surge to her side. When it calls, will you be for minding? Will you founder and sleep with the sea? Every song was not meant for rhyming. Would you go lonely to your grave, or will your heart break on a wave? He knew the stories of sirens, and she had cast ships on the rocks. But he'd rather die on this island than forever be lonely and lost. He had traveled for so long, now he sank into her song. So by pieces they stripped off his armor. One by one she set him free, and they never returned to the water, there to be or not to be, singing through the night. When it calls, will you be for minding? Will you founder and sleep with the sea? Every verse was not meant for writing. Would you go lonely to your grave, or will your heart break on a wave? When it calls, will you be for minding? Will you founder and sleep with the sea? Every tide was not meant for rising. When it calls, will you be for minding? Will you founder and sleep with the sea? Every song was not meant for rhyming. Would you go lonely to your grave, or will your heart break on a wave? I was born under a new moon, by firelight, by firelight. My daddy's lungs was burning through and through with anthracite, with anthracite. And I don't know who died first, my daddy or the mine, but I seen the buzzards gathering just beyond the picket line. So I left when I was able, but the world don't really care much for a boy with no direction, education, or design. And I'll go back home and climb that old black mountain I left so long ago. And if I don't, I'll harvest all that sorrow and make a heart of coal. Well, I had my share of run-ins with the bottle and the law. I could see my older brothers take their turns and take their falls. So when that sergeant said he'd send me to where men from boys were made, I signed away my life for to hold a gun and to learn a trade. Well, I don't know what good it did, but to pass away the time, I got a stack of discharge papers, ringing ears, and a crooked spine. Still, every now and then, I feel that devil down inside, stirring up a load of fear and hate, and God knows why but pride. And I'll go back home and climb that old black mountain I left so long ago. And if I don't, I'll harvest all that sorrow and make a heart of coal. And I'll go back home and climb that old black mountain I left so long ago. And if I don't, I'll harvest all that sorrow and make a heart of coal. I used to play in a band, playing rock and roll, a little R&B, country and soul. We were doing it for fun, we knew we wouldn't go far. We had a steady gig in Dallas until we got fired, but we didn't care all that much, cause the bartender who got us hired kept pouring drinks as if we owned that bar. This row of bar stools knows our names, and so does anybody in the joint who's worth a damn. 3 more beers and a whiskey sour, me and the crew drinking after hours. Barkeep had the waitress clear the joint at 2 a.m. And then he'd point at us and say, well, everyone but them. He'd pour himself a triple, and we'd drink to anything. We took whiskey and tequila, long necks and draft. I drank White Russians with heavy cream until I got fat. Put a 20 in the jukebox and sit and drink and sing. This row of bar stools knows our names, and so does anybody in the joint who's worth a damn. 3 more beers and a whiskey sour, me and the crew drinking after hours. It's been a few years, some of them got kids. We've got our things to be proud of in spite of bad things we did. I still ain't grown up, but I know I'm growing old. We still get together whenever we can and meet down at the bar that used to have a band that played rock and roll, R&B, country, and soul. This row of bar stools knows our names, and so does anybody in the joint who's worth a damn. 3 more beers and a whiskey sour, me and the crew drinking after hours. As fathers, they fought for their sons. As husbands, they died for their wives. As As warriors they bled for their land. For all this they gave up their lives. Outnumbered, outmatched, these men stood up and faced the heavy ranks of foreign foes. Like warrior poets, they fought to their deaths, their struggle the mightiest of prose. So remember, boys, to tread very softly, for beneath you lie the heroes of our past. Our fathers are lost, our brothers are gone, our mothers, they stand in their wake. As icons of our youth fall silent, I kneel at the wall and weep. So the mothers must raise up their sons to be part of the patriot game. Strength tempered by hardship and loss, will forged by pride in their name. Now everyone knows that a fatherless son is a soldier just waiting to be trained. The ranks will be filled with those boys from the hills, and their voices take up the old refrain. So remember, boys, to tread very softly, for beneath you lie the heroes of our past. Our fathers are lost, our brothers are gone, our mothers, they stand in their wake. As icons of our youth fall silent, I kneel at the wall and weep. The fields are flushed with our dead, and the names of the fallen are read, but their memory lies in the corners of our eyes. We're all bound to go. We're all bound to go. Our fathers are lost, our brothers are gone, our mothers, they stand in their wake. As icons of our youth fall silent, I kneel at the wall and weep. As icons of our youth fall silent, I kneel at the wall and weep. Laid up at home on a week's bed rest with a quarter-sized tumor fresh out of my neck. Doctor sent me off to convalesce with a pocket full of pills. Now this weren't just some Tylenol 3, it was Percocet, that's Tylenol with oxycodone. The only time the military ever gave me something stronger than Advil. And I'd take 1,000 more if I had a clue of how to get 'em, or a single fewer thing worth living for. If holding on for one more day is the best way to show 'em they might hold you and keep you from floating away. My face went fuzzy like an old TV, and I didn't feel the hunger, I didn't feel the need to put myself to bed with the Jeremiah weed, or to worry about the falling out. Days had passed since I'd felt pain, but I heard a sound in the lizard brain. On and on that voice was saying, take 'em till the script run out. And I'd take 1,000 more if I had a clue of how to get 'em, or a single fewer thing worth living for. If holding on for one more day is the best way to show them they might hold you and keep you from floating away. Think of all the people who are just like me and got a little bottle after surgery, but they had a predilection or a Pusher MD, the Sackler Original Sin. If the doctor would've given me another refill, if I told him that I needed just another few pills, tap dancing on an open windowsill, never come down again. And I'd take 1,000 more if I'd a clue of how to get 'em, or a single fewer thing worth living for. But holding on for one more day is the best way to show 'em they might hold you and keep you from floating away. They're holding on for one more day is the last way to show you they might hold you and keep you from floating away.
Song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date, send a song in. Everybody votes, then we do it again. Song fight, song fight. Get a title and a date, send a song in. Everybody votes, then we do it again.
Spud here, broadcasting to you from Octothorpe Studios in Smoky, Seattle with breaking news. As host for the 2020 Song Fight live stream social and distance live fight on September 27th, I am able to report that a title for this year's live fight has just been announced. And that title is Better Luck Next Year. All Song Fight participants, past and present, are invited to submit a video of a live performance of their version of Better Luck Next Year to the Dropbox linked on the Song Fight board by Saturday, September 26th at 10 a.m. Spud time, otherwise known as Pacific Daylight Time. Please state or title your band name in your video. For the purpose of voting, please send an identifying image of you or your band. In the spirit of previous Song Fight live fights, your video should be recorded live. Your interpretation of this particular requirement may depend on the makeup of your musical group, genre, or disposition. Violators will be ridiculed, down-voted, and generally spat upon. Late entries accepted at the discretion of the fight masters and may be identified as such to the viewing audience. The usual naming standards apply. Better luck next year!
Yay, Spud. Always great to see him.
Good job. Good job, everybody.
Well, that's another night in the bag.
Another night in the bag. Just 12 more to go. Yeah. That was a great set, Sober.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I really liked what you did on the last song. With the bridge was pretty cool. Have you ever played that song live before?
Never played it live before.
You never played it live? Oh, man, it just really turned out pretty well.
A lot of Glenn's behind you. Almost.
It is a lot of Glenn's behind me. I mean, the production, especially on the whole set, the production was fantastic. Most of us just get by with like 1, 4, 5 chords, but I think you used every chord, every single chord that there possibly was. Have you ever, were any of those songs from Nurine?
I've never done Nurine.
You never did? Really? Well, you should do Nurine. I mean, I think you'd do pretty well. You'd probably make it to at least week 2 or 3. Well, I guess that's it, right? Thanks everybody for coming to this lovely the venue here. Hopefully this Song Fight Live will not have the curse of Song Fight Live and shut YouTube down or something like that, but you never know. I mean, it's a pretty powerful curse at this point.
We got some thank yous to give out for sure.
Yeah, we got some thank yous to give out. We'd like to say thanks to the gang in the organizing committee for this year's Song Fight Live, which includes Aaron Lyman, and Leah Charney, and Sam and Ken and Glenn and Jeff and Spud and Tom, also known as Boxo Yucks. Bafo Yucks. Oh man, it's late, you guys. And thanks to my wife Dory for putting up with me while this all went on. Thanks to Lauren, Sober's girlfriend, for putting up with him just in general. You know how it goes. Also thanks to Sober's mom for keeping her comments to herself. And thanks to G and my boy Hugo. Everybody, it's been wonderful. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks to Sober for doing 9% of the work on putting this together and running it. Seems to have gone almost absolutely flawless. So thanks. It's been fun, Jimmy. Enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you, JB, for making Song Fight, sort of bringing it back from near death in the early aughts.
I'm glad we did that. Thanks to Spud especially for provoking that with the meanwhiles. Stay tuned, everybody, in the live chat. We're going to post a Zoom link, and as you heard with the PSA, the title for the live fight is next Sunday is when the broadcast happens. But your file it should be a video, and it should be due like Saturday or something like that. Give us a break. No late entries. Your mileage may vary. And the title again is Better Luck Next Year. That's Better Luck Next Year, which I hope we all have. And next week we have another and our final show for Songfight Live in this series, and it'll be hosted by Sam and Aaron of Marathon. And we probably will have about 8 or 9 hours worth of content for that show. So make sure you show up early, just based on human behavior patterns. Anyway, I hope you're coming to the Zoom. I'll see you there. Got any last words, Jim?
No.
All right. And back to you.
Song fight. Everybody's going to the song fight. Get a title and a date. Send your song in. Everybody votes and we do it again. It's a song fight.